Hey, Joe from Boulet's Garage. What are you looking at? Well, it's a 2012 Honda CRV. I'm getting ready to replace a starter in. So if you're attempting to jump on this yourself, just be aware that the starter is located under the intake plenum and that needs to be moved out of the way. Secondly, uh, before you disconnect the battery, make sure if you have an anti-theft code, you know where that 5-digit code is. Otherwise, you're going to have to probably call the dealer with the VIN and all that, prove who you are, and so you can get it working again. So then you'll disconnect the battery. So most importantly too, everything's important, right? So I'm replacing the starter with a quality Nippon Denso remanufactured starter. Reason being, um, part being is the location of this starter is under the intake plenum and the labor that's involved to get to it. You want to kind of do it once, especially in my line of work where I get paid for it. And trying to get warranty labor from a chain store is like, I don't know, pulling teeth. Anyway, so the part number for this 2012 Honda CRV and this Nissan, Nissan, Honda is 280-6026. Um, if a starter's not in stock that I want, like the Nippon Denso, I special order it in. This car is still starting, but the starter was working weak. And customers going on a long trip to California, they don't want any surprises. So I suggested that we replace it, and they agreed. Before replacing the starter, I always test the battery. This battery tested good. That's not the issue. I'm also going to do a serpentine belt, and she has no clue as to whether or not it's been replaced or not. Belt looks okay, but that doesn't mean nothing. I would recommend, personally, professionally, you replace your serpentine belt every 60 to 70,000 miles, just to be on the safe side so you don't have to worry about it, and inspect all other pulleys as needed. But we're not talking about that really in this video, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by removing this intake tube out of the way, and I'm going to pull the intake plenum out of the way. Okay, what I've done here is I pulled this lower plastic cover back a little bit to get up in here and get this bolt loose right there. 12 millimeter socket fits it. That's connected to the bottom of the plenum itself. So you're not going to get it out unless you get that out. I'm looking, yeah, it's the original Honda starter in this thing. So, all right, so sometimes you can get that bolt through the bottom hole right here in this cover, but I wasn't having much luck getting enough throw on the ratchet to do that. Okay, so I got the intake plenum out of the way, and you can see as a little precautionary, I put duct tape over the intake there. You never know what might happen. You could have something fall in there, and that would make for more than a bad day. So I do this a little bit differently than some videos I've seen out there. I pull all the bolts out from the throttle body. That way you don't have to deal with the coolant hoses leaking everywhere. Um, so yeah, so over here is the plenum. You can see here's your PCV valve hose and plenum gaskets. I'm not replacing. I've done these before, not had a problem without replacing them. They're still soft and pliable. Same goes with the throttle body gasket. This is the bracket in the bottom of that bolt you got to get out, 12 millimeter socket. So you got 6 bolts to get out. No, 5 bolts and 1 nut. And yeah, you disconnect your hoses, any hoses attached. Wiring harness that runs over the top of the plenum. There's 1, 2, 3 connectors. One of them goes to your map sensor, and yeah, so I'm going to continue on and remove this old starter. There's a 12 millimeter nut underneath this right here, and then the solenoid wire is going to come off. I'm going to pull that off right now. Little clip on the top there. So I'm going to continue on. I believe I got to go after the bottom bolt with, it looks like a 17 millimeter. And the top bolt, it should be Yeah, it's like a long, I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but there's a long bolt. You just kind of see it right in there. 14 millimeter head you got to get at that with. So, all right, so I'm going after that now, and I'll be back. Okay, I got the long top starter bolt out of the way first. I recommend you do it that way because it's kind of in a weird position behind there, behind that coolant bypass pipe. You want to be careful too because your knock sensor connector is right here. I got at that with a 12, 14 millimeter boxed end wrench, and that seemed to work pretty good, getting it in there. You know, and you got to pull this harness out of the way. There's a clip that goes right into here. You push the bottom of the retaining clip out, get that out of the way. So I got my lower bolt here. It's like 17 millimeter to go, and loosen that, and the starter should come right out of there. Okay, I got the old starter out. I had to give it a little tap with a special tool here to get it worked out of there. And so here's the old starter, and here's the new starter. Make sure you compare old starter to new starter to verify proper application. Sorry, I had to just do that. I saw a video out there kind of like that. Anyway, so here's the old one. Yeah, you're gonna want to look at, you know, just compare. I mean, these are the same. Um, I've never seen a CRV here in the Northeast with a manual transmission. I guess that's the only time you might have a problem. But or if they grab the wrong one off the shelf, obviously. Don't forget, put your old starter in the box. You're going to get a core refund on that. So the nut and lock washer they give you with it, I don't use that per se. I like to use the old one. A lot of times the new nut they give you is a 13 millimeter instead of a 12 millimeter, and you know it's only 7 foot-pounds on the tightening of that stud. You don't want to twist that and break that battery positive post that goes into the starter. So I mean, I do it by feel, but if you need to know what 7 foot-pounds is, then look it up and make sure you use a torque wrench. All right, so I'm going to put the new starter in and reversal of disassembly. All right, I got the new starter in here, and the lower 17 millimeter bolt is just kind of floating around in there. The starter is too. Reason being, little helpful hint here is once you get that long bolt in the top, if you tighten this bottom one up, it might not go in. So what you're going to want to do is start them all basically by hand, snug them up, then tighten them. Torque spec, just when your wrist clicks, then you know that it's tight enough. Now you just don't want to over tighten it, and I will post the torque specs up here in the video. All right, so now I'm going to connect the battery positive terminal and the solenoid wire and reinstall the intake and the throttle body and all that, and should start up a lot easier now. By the way, I noticed there's some rodent activity in here, and I've seen, and if you can see the remnants of bird seed or whatever down there, but I've seen them chew the knock sensor wiring. So if out of the blue you get a knock sensor code, that could be what it is. Little bastards are chewing on your wiring. Hey, Joe here. So, yeah, I know it's kind of an abrupt ending to the CRV starter replacement, but I guess if you get one thing out of this video, that's all that matters. From a lot of the videos I saw out there, I think, well, I've watched a few of them and they're pretty good, but what I did different was I removed the throttle body because you get that bracket in the bottom, and if you have the throttle body still on there and you're trying to flip it up and get it out of the way, I didn't have the best of luck. I've seen some videos out there, guys do it in 20 minutes. I'm not about doing it faster myself. I've worked flat rate for a lot of years, and I know sometimes you cut corners, it can bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? So anyway, hopefully the video helped you out. If you like this video, please hit the little circle up here, or there's one in the bottom corner there. You can subscribe, and that would be great. I really appreciate your time in watching my video. Hopefully it helped you out. Have a good night.